football franchise, talking about that guy. Hoogie, Tyler every week. Heavy analytics, competition real steep. Whoa, that's sweet. Ho in this belief. Nick so sick, man, bringing ships the whole fleet. Goats, not sheep. Follow every tweet. Don't sleep, always find the sleepers on the street. Boy. F3, winning every single league. Money back guaranteed, but it's free. Welcome to the franchise. Welcome to the franchise. Let's go.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Franchise Podcast. My name is Nick Sigmund. With me as always is Tyler Gee and Jonathan Robertson.
That's a fantasy vulture, brah. Coming for you.
You gotta get the Velociraptor though.
Jonathan does the best Velociraptor. We all know that.
He's not gonna break it out though. He doesn't want
shy.
everyone to know about it.
He's a shy Veloci. For those of you just tuning in, maybe it's been a while. We're the Fantasy Football Franchise. We are accurate. We are entertaining.
Precise.
We are
I
precision,
am accurate and precise.
and we're for just fun. And if you've been listening to us before, we're kind of mixing things up. We've decided, every single podcast out there does a recap, and not that we're going to leave you informationless, but we're just not going to go through every single game. We're going to talk about the things that you care about. We're talking about the buys, the sells, the what do you do with this guy? Why is this guy smelling like a hot turd? Why is Nick so attractive? These are the questions that we're all going to hit today. And
people can't answer them.
Not all of them, but we're going to try our best. And so a little bit different spin. And for those of you that are new to us, welcome in. And hey, we're also giving away that Deshaun Watson mini helmet. That's happening today.
Oh yeah.
Maybe episode 2?
Yeah.
Episode
I gotta press the randomize button and then we get the winner.
Chicken dinner.
And yeah, but you have to do spirit fingers when you talk about it because it's so so magnificent.
Yes, we should have the winner wear the helmet with then do spirit fingers while they wore it. But it's also like
it's a mini, so maybe if they had like a cat, they could like put it on the cat.
Could you imagine a cat doing spirit fingers?
Well, let's get into the news.
The fantasy news.
So there's definitely a few injuries. The Packers' Geronimo Allison was out with concussion.
He is concussed.
He is concussed. He's been doing pretty well. I mean, week 1, 5 receptions on 8 targets. Week 2, 6 receptions on 6 targets. Week 3, 2 receptions on 4, not a great one. But then 6 receptions on 11 targets. Like he was getting the targets, and he also had 2 touchdowns. And his catch percentage was always over 50%. I don't have his target share up, but I remember a few weeks ago that he was one of the highest targeted wide receivers for the Packers. I think right under Devontae Adams.
Yeah, keep in mind, though, too, it's one of those things that a lot of Geronimo Allison's, targets came from the lack of Randall Cobb being there. Randall Cobb is still out. Now, when we talk about week 4, Devontae Adams had 14 targets. Geronimo Allison had 11. The next person that got any kind of targets was 3 targets, and that was Marquez
Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah, guy. Who is that's a lot to put on the back of a jersey, and he was next in line. So watch him. We'll talk about our waiver wire pickups after the news, but he is someone I'm keeping a mindful eye on. But I don't know how much I'm in love with it.
Yeah, and it also Will Dissly, tragic, but I think he's out for the rest of the year from what I've heard.
Oh, Willie.
I had him in the fishbowl, and he was like I didn't have great tight ends because I had Bennett, oh my gosh, the Titans, Delaney Walker. I picked up Delaney Walker pretty early because of tight end premium, and then now he's out, so I picked up Will Dissly when he got big. Now he's out, so
what I'm trying to hear is your fishbowl is not going very bowling.
I'm actually very...
Yeah,
I have Breeze and Roethlisberger as my quarterbacks, so... Things
You're doing all right.
Things are not bad.
Things could be worse.
Well, I think I had the second most points in our.
All right, now you're just
Okay.
bragging at this point.
I lost one game to some guy who just went off. Whatever. So Will Dissly, I don't know if I'm going to target the secondary tight end here.
No, I think you have to watch. It's either Nick Bennett or Ed Dixon. I think either one of them. I lean more Ed Dixon, but this would be more of a dynasty kind of pickup if he's not picked up already. If you're going to redraft,
Well, and Ed
there's
Dixon,
other waiver wire tight ends I want to talk about today.
Ed Dixon is still on non-football injury list for 2 more weeks. So the only one there is Nick Vanett for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Vanett.
Whatever.
I don't English, okay?
We can tell.
Vanale.
Another
That's
tight
how I
end,
say it.
O.J. Howard. Cameron Brate time. O.J. Howard sprained his MCL, out 2 to 4 weeks. There's a bye week this week, so there's 1 free week. But Brate is going to go off.
Got something going on. I love me some Cameron Brate.
There's not really a waiver wire pickup there. It's just Cameron Brate all day, every day.
I own Cameron Brate in every league.
Because he was cheap.
Maybe not redraft, but yeah, we'll talk about him on the waiver wires. But it's definitely me and...
So, is Leonard Fournette scaring you at this point?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, so Leonard Fournette exited week 4
with another hamstring
one.
injury.
So here's my issue, though, is that when you re-aggravate something, you've heard it even more than you initially did. He was out 2 weeks with this one, so I will say he will be out probably about a month. I think he misses 4 games on this one.
I don't know about 4. At least 2.
3. We will settle at 3, Nick.
Okay. That's fine.
I'll allow
But, I
it.
mean, I loved T.J. Yeldon last week. As far as fantasy-wise, I didn't actually get to watch that game. I was kind of disappointed.
So, question. This may be derailing a little bit, but what are you doing, Leonard Fournette?
I don't know if you can sell him. And do you want to sell him? Well, I think if he
Are you
actually...
selling? Okay, redraft, what are you doing with him? Dynasty, what are you doing with him?
In Dynasty, I'm hoping he has 3 good weeks, and I want to sell him.
Okay, so you're still
Because
hold until he
He
does
is
something.
chronically injury-prone. He did this last year. He's doing it this year. He's going to do it next year, too. And this was one of the problems coming into the league, is that he was injury-prone.
Yeah.
He's a big guy, has a lot of weight. Yeah.
What I need is them to have the Jaguars. You ever seen like Mr. Miyagi rub his hands together? Yes, yeah. And then he hit him with that, and then he rubbed his hands together and he put it on a body part. This is not trying to turn sexual,
Talk slow
but it
to
is.
me, Tyler.
And it just warmed it and it got better. Yeah, we're gonna need some of that for the Leonard Fournette on the Jaguars sideline.
You need some
I'll pay for
magnesium and to drink plenty of water.
it. I've got a couple shares of Leonard Fournette. I will get a GoFundMe going.
I don't think I have any of them. I'm never,
don't either.
I'm never at that part of the draft. I usually
right,
take
well,
some of those. Anyways,
Anybody want to buy one?
No, you can't sell. I mean, you're selling him at his cheapest price that he's going to be. I mean, obviously, a guy who's been out for weeks, we don't know really when he's coming back.
so question. Let's guess he comes back week 7 or 8.
Uh-huh.
And he plays 3 weeks and does decent, like top 12 running back. What do you do
Yep.
with him?
I mean, in redraft, the problem is with that is I just got to see where my team is, because here's the thing. Like, I have him in a redraft league, a work league, and I'm on the struggle bus because I got Saquon with my first pick, went around, and Leonard Fournette was still there in the second.
Yeah.
You take him.
Yeah.
So, but the problem is I'm down a second-round pick. I mean, really, like, I'm playing without a
So
second-round
is
pick.
every
So-
David Johnson owner.
So let me ask you a question, though.
They're also in the struggle bus, too.
Yeah.
And at least David Johnson got him 20 points this week, or close to.
If he comes back, though, you're like, well, he comes back in a couple weeks and he does great. Well, is he going to do great? I mean,
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Over-
what is
over
your
two
opinion?
ga- over
would you
two
sell him or
games-
would you risk it?
over 2 games, he's had 20 rushes and 71 yards, no touchdown.
Well, yeah, he played hurt, Jonathan. That's
But the issue is the first game, 9 rushes, 41 yards. Second game, 11 rushes, 30 yards. But yes, then he got hurt. And now he's dealing with a tight hamstring, which he says he still feels like it catches when he walks. Like I told Tyler the other day, and I've said it on previous podcasts. This is or previous episodes. This is not a new thing. He was used as a high mileage vehicle at LSU.
Mileage vehicle.
He is
slaps the roof of Leonard Fournette's helmet. This bad boy is good for about 1,000 yards.
He's worn. I mean,
Yeah.
Is this going to get better? No, he is not. So to me, he is not a good dynasty option.
In Dynasty, I will sell him at the price that he should be sold at if he comes back and gives me 2 or 3 good games.
Yeah.
In
want him to bring his
redraft,
value
it's just
back
hard
up.
to say because if I'm making the playoff run, I don't know how many people will trade Leonard Fournette. The people that are trading close to playoff runs are the people trying to make the playoffs. You see what I'm saying? And so it's dependent. If I have no chance of making the playoffs, which is a real option because I don't have a first or second rounder because I lost Leonard Fournette, then why make a trade?
It's a tough situation because, like, so if I'm running for the playoffs and I look at you and you have Leonard Fournette, I know what I'm going to have to trade to get him from you because you're going to value him as your first round pick.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. So I'm not going to do that because there's no promise that he's going to be productive when he comes back.
He gets into that limbo. So I think in redraft you just swallow and hope for the best. I was this close, guys, to trading Matthew Stafford and Leonard Fournette for Stephon Diggs and Patrick Mahomes. Right before Thursday night's game. I was this close, and the guy was like, I'm sorry, I just can't do it. And I was like, But you could, though. And then when Leonard Fournette went out, I was like, ain't that about it? I was so close. All right, let's keep on going with the news.
In Dynasty, are you going to keep Tyler Eifert at this point?
No.
That may be a career ender.
He does this every year.
Nah, it might be a career ender. No, I'm not making that up. And I hate to say that because I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't want somebody to have their career end. I don't want any of those things. Nick, would you quit stroking my
You were patting
mic
your mic shaft, and I was like, I guess I'll do it too. I want to see what all the hubbub is about.
The dust off. Anyways, but I don't want anybody to have their career end, but that was a horrific thing. I know it said it was just broken, but there was a lot going on. The guy is so injury prone, and I'm just going to be honest. When you have something like that, if I am Tyler Eifert, I am second guessing coming back. So to me, this may be a huge buy Tyler Croft moment in Dynasty, and we'll talk about waivers and redraft. Because we've talked about this in the offseason, is that I don't know if it's Tyler Eifert, although I like the talent of Tyler Eifert. I think a lot of it may also be just Andy Dalton loving to use the tight end that are named Tyler. I would be a fantastic
Tyler Boyd,
option.
Tyler Eifert.
That's why
As long
AJ
as you're a
Green's
Tyler.
not. Yeah, he's not a fan of him.
He
looks
did
at
okay
coach.
a couple weeks ago.
You got to get this guy out of here. I don't want him in my face. But anyways, we'll keep talking.
Okay.
But no, I don't think that I keep him. I mean, he had a 2015 Pro Bowl injury where he also injured the ankle. So he missed 3 months in 2016. Then he goes 2016 and 2017 season. He had 2 back surgeries. Then he comes in 2018, injures the ankle, breaks it. It's a full break. Yeah, I don't think that he's back. I just hopefully you traded him before now, but
I mean, I'm not a medical professional, but back surgeries
Continue.
don't always work well under constant
Strain.
hitting. Like you repaired your back, okay, take it easy. And then it's like, all right, go out there and get tackled.
well, back surgeries don't last in the majority of the world. I mean, you're usually going to have reproduced issues. I mean, so is it going to come back? Sure. And I don't know. Even without the ankle.
In Dynasty, if you have an IR, put him there. If you don't, I'd be okay dropping him.
My
Move on.
IR is full. It's
Yeah.
full.
Don't
it
put
might
him
be.
in. Just drop him.
All right. Any waiver wire pickups you guys want to point out that you feel we should be looking at?
There are two for me, and I want to talk about both of them because I'm very passionate about them.
You get one.
I get both.
Go with your passion.
The other one is mine.
Nope. Both
get
of
one.
Both of them are mine.
You get one.
All right. The first one, of course, is my man. I own him everywhere in Dynasty League. I'm about to own him some redraft. That is Cameron Brate. Cameron Brate loves him some Jameis Winston. And as of last week, when the Bears just threw down a full smackdown on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
I don't know what you're talking about.
the Bucs brought in Jameis Winston, and lo and behold, surprise, surprise, Nick, Cameron Brate scores a touchdown. Okay, in 2017. Okay, in 2017. Let me go through, not standard. We don't want standard. PPR formats of Cameron Brate through the years or through the time. Week 2, this is 2017, 4.4 points, not very good. Weeks after, 13.3, 18, 17.8, 19.6, 12, and 10.4. Then in week 9, Jameis Winston gets hurt. 1.9, 2, 2.2, 1.6. Oh, and then in week 13, Jameis Winston came back, 17.9.
So you're saying Jameis likes Brate?
Yep. And with O.J. Howard out, I think we're just going to see the Cameron Brate show. And in this Barfy tight end situation, I want to get him now.
Yeah, he immediately rose into the top 10 for me.
And you know, they're on a bye, so it's going to stink to go and, like, get him. And he may be off people's, radar because of that. They're looking at projected points. Who helps me out now? But in the world of Barfy tight ends, yes, please. I mean, last week, Chicago, yes, he only had 3 receptions for 4 targets, 3 receptions, and a touchdown, but still 11.9 points. Yes. So Cameron Brate is one of mine. Jonathan, what is one of your waiver wire pickups or even buys?
My waiver wire pickup right now is Kaven Tanny Cootie. Kute.
Say that
Cootie,
again.
Cootie. Kaven Tanny Kute. Cootie or Kute? I'm not sure.
Oh, it's definitely Kute. Mama, at school, the kids were making fun of me. Why? They say I got Kutes.
Wow.
Also known as Kiki Cootie.
Oh, that's
Kute.
better. Kiki. Sorry.
Wait, what is it? A commercial?
So Will Fuller goes down with a hamstring issue, which he has had hamstring issues in the past. Will Fuller is expected to come back. O'Brien says that he is supposed to be ready for the Dallas game on Sunday night. But here's the issue: is Will Fuller has had issues in the past. If you have a spot on your roster and you can stash him, I think that this guy, even with Will Fuller comes back, I think he goes into the rotation. I mean, you're talking about a Texans team who has a struggling running back core. You're talking about a Texans team who doesn't have a solid tight end. And you're talking about a Texans team who just had this guy come from the bench, come into the game, had 15 targets, 11 receptions, and 109 yards.
He's always been a good wide receiver when Will Fuller was hurt. Anytime Will Fuller's hurt, and we didn't talk about it on the injury update, but he got out of the game.
Yeah. He had
as soon as he got out of the game with his hamstring, Cootie steps up and he does it. I mean, he is one of those two that you just have to, he has to be on your radar when Will Fuller goes down. Because I think that type of position, so I'm agreeing with you, that type of position, Deshaun Watson just wants. That's the type of quarterback he wants. He wants that gunslinging long ball. And sling, baby, sling.
I mean, there's just not a lot of options on. I mean, you have
DeAndre Hopkins.
You have Hopkins.
There is no tight end.
You have Fuller and this guy. I mean, I'm picking him up because
we've seen him. We've seen Watson throw 5 touchdowns in a game as a normality.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's the issue is they've limited themselves on options. This guy, he's a rookie. He's shown that he can do it. I mean, he had a 73.3% catch rate. He averaged 9 yards per reception. I mean, why not?
I ain't mad at it.
So I was looking at I'm just going to touch on this one, and then I'll talk about another one.
You get one.
On Naheem Hines. He got 9 receptions on 11 targets. So in PPR, look at him. Standard don't really bother right now.
Well, he had good ground game.
He did. It's just a large backfield to kind of get behind. If he comes out ahead, yeah, that's fine. If you have space, sure. In PPR, I would definitely give him a shot as your flex, bye-week blues type of guy. D.D. Westbrook came out this week. Was supposed to kind of step in week 1 whenever Lee had a ACL tear, but he didn't. But he was targeted 13 times this week on 9 receptions.
So, question though on the Naheem Hines pickup, are you at all worried about Robert Turbin coming back?
No, because before the season even started, Naheem Hines was the one
he was
talked about even by the
catcher
Colts beat reporter.
As a pass catcher.
This is a Chris Thompson situation to me. Not that he's going to do what Chris Thompson did.
He's Chris Thompson. He's baby Chris Thompson.
Yeah, I just need someone to catch passes like a Woodhead. I want him to be a Woodhead of sorts.
Yeah. No.
I mean, you got.
All right, you're wrong. Let's go.
Who's the guy that you just said? Literally just
Turbin?
left it. Well, yeah, Robert
Marlon
Turbin.
Mack.
Robert Turbin is a guy. He travels from team to team to team at being a backup. Why? He can run the ball. He's. I
mean, they got Christine Michael too.
He's a guy. Yeah, they're both guys you can plug in.
So they have no one. Got it.
So I don't worry about him. If Naheem Hines can continue to do it on the ground, if Jordan Wilkins proves that he's inefficient, I think even when Marlon Mack comes back.
But even Marlon Mack wasn't really a pass catcher.
Yeah, I think Naheem Hines can be effective. So yeah, I agree. Pick him up.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, if he's still on the waiver wire, is he still on the waiver wire?
Yeah.
I mean,
in redraft he is. In Dynasty, it's give or take, but in redraft,
no,
he's the flex of flex running backs before this week.
All right, I agree. Let's move on.
Okay.
I like him. All right, so here's my next person.
Oh, waiver? You're just still doing waivers? All right, fine.
oh,
Fine, whatever,
you
man.
told me
you got one.
No, you
I
can
want
do
to
it.
talk
Go
about
ahead.
one more.
Go ahead.
It better be good.
I just mentioned just Tyler Kroft. Like I feel like Tyler Eifert when he went down is you have to pick up Tyler Kroft. I was looking it up in 2017. Tyler Kroft played 16 games, finished as tight end 11, had 7 touchdowns. Okay, 62 targets, 42 receptions for 404 yards. I mean, Andy Dalton likes that position, and you can't just ignore it. In the world of barfy tight ends, now would I rather have Cameron Brate or Tyler Kroft? I'd rather have Brate.
Yeah, you would.
But
he went to Harvard.
In saying this, I get both. Play Kroft this next week for week 5. Cameron Brate the rest of the season, if you have the room for it. I mean, I'm just saying. So
I'm literally looking at your phone right now. You just Googled football players named Tyler.
No, I did
That's
not.
all you did.
No, that's All right,
yeah,
so,
at least I'm not Googling cooties.
So before we get into the studs and duds, I want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Hall of Breaks, a place with the newest memorabilia available, from recent signings and hot rookies to new products with classic players. First round picks to Hall of Fame standouts, the best products around are in the Hall. Daily chances to win prizes with a new series every week. Products from full-size replicas and authentic helmets to minis in Blaze, Ice, Speed, and other popular styles. There is some risk involved in this game of chance, so be sure to read the rules on the page or contact the page admin with any questions. Hall of Breaks is more than just a prize page. It is a community of dedicated collectors and lovers of the game.
Absolutely, guys.
And guess what? We're giving away stuff.
We're giving away stuff. Tune in next episode for our September giveaway.
Yeah,
Give it away. Give it away. Give it away.
Now.
In an episode.
Okay. It's a small, mini, not small. It's a mini
Small
Deshaun
mini?
Watson signed helmet. It's not a small mini, John.
Smooth, soft.
And, I mean, when you win stuff on there, it comes the next day. It's one-day shipping. Tell me, you can't even get that stuff on Amazon without paying $40.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's also talk about some breaking news that just happened. Although I love some Hall of Breaks, let's talk about some breaking news brought to you by Hall of Breaks. Le'Veon Bell expects to report to Steelers camp during Week 7 bye.
So
Bell plans on playing football this season for the Steelers. James Conner owners all side.
I got both.
I will
in
say
some
this.
leagues.
Here's what I will tell you is that with it, in redraft, there's not a whole lot of implications. I mean, if you can try to move Connor before someone knows about this news, but I doubt it. I mean, this is probably big news. In Dynasty, I'm still buying Connor. I really,
Sure.
I think, and someone asked me, and they asked me in the Periscope. We do Periscopes on Sundays. I filled in this week, and I did. Someone said, "Is Connor the back to own in the Steelers?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he is." And I think that even when Le'Veon Bell comes back, let's say he plays half a season, he still won't be a Steeler. I just don't think so. And I mean, I could be wrong, but I think that James Conner is the back to own there, and I will buy him in Dynasty
Yeah.
during those weeks.
Honestly, as a dynasty owner, this is the best thing ever. I had Le'Veon Bell, and I had James Conner as the backup. And James Conner, while Bell has been gone, has actually shown up and shown he can actually move the ball. Maybe not as good as Bell, but good enough to start in your fantasy team. And now Bell's going to go somewhere else, and you'll have James Conner. It's a win-win.
So, this doesn't really matter, but why?
Why what?
Why? He goes from not playing, not wanting to play, Steelers trying to deal him, and then all of a sudden...
I mean, someone might have said something to him.
So here's what I think happened. I've said this from the beginning. I think that Le'Veon Bell told him, "I want to trade, I want to trade, I want to trade."
And no one would accept the
And
trade.
so then the Steelers were like, "No, we're not trading. No, we're not trading. No, we're not trading." And finally the Steelers were like, "Okay, we might need to trade him." Because obviously he's not happy. Obviously this is a lot more than just him being a little upset. He may legitimately not play for us. So let's see what we can get out of him. So then they shopped him for a week or two. And no one's wanting to pay the price. No one's wanting to come up. And so now Le'Veon Bell's stuck between a rock and a hard place of, well, I'm not going to get traded.
Yeah.
I mean, that's out. That was my game plan, and now that's not happening. And,
Yeah.
I mean, I have to come back at some point, right? Like, I think about legally by his...
Well, he doesn't have to. He could quit football altogether.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's an option, too, but I'm just saying, like...
He has to come back by week 10, which that's why I'm surprised about it. I figured he'd come back week 10 and just say, I'm going to collect the money I
The only
have to
thing I
collect
can think of
and
is
then
that
leave.
he wants to at least learn the system. Because, I mean, you got to remember, too, the Steelers have a new head offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So, I mean, things may be a little different.
I just don't believe they can't afford him for one. Like any money. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger
Yeah.
has to leave for them to be able to afford Le'Veon Bell.
Well, here's the thing, though, is, I don't know, in my personal
That's right,
opinion,
you don't know.
something had to happen. I mean, besides the fact that the Steelers are the last in their division.
We're all speculating at this point. I mean...
And just soak that in. Steelers are fourth in their division.
And they're in the same division as the Browns.
Yeah.
Let's also sink this in. The Bears are the top of their division.
So let's get into the main event.
Let that just settle.
The main event.
You will let me
Duds
fanboy.
and duds for the week.
I will fanboy.
Sorry,
I've had to endure Jay Cutler.
Last
Jay
week-
freaking Cutler.
Oh, you want to talk about some stuff? Let me just tell you the history of the Buccaneers. We've had 5 years of actual decency, and then the rest is trash.
They're a victim to the Ryan Fitzpatrick cycle.
No, they're the victim to the the Glazier owners.
All right.
Did you hear whatever the coach, Spader?
Everyone should be fired, even himself.
Yeah, everyone should be fired. They're all horrible, even myself.
What is that? What the coach said?
Yeah. He said they should fire him for that.
What?
The head coach said he should be fired for that game.
What?
They said it was the worst game of defense
In
that
the
anyone has
history of
seen.
ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
I mean, when Mitchell Trubisky, listen, I'm a Bears fan, but I'm also realistic. When Mitchell Trubisky, when they're talking about him getting the record for the most amount of touchdowns in a game, and I really think he could have got it if
Well,
they
that's
would
for
have.
the Bears.
If they would no
7 touchdowns.
no 7
Yeah, no,
touchdowns.
I'm just saying he did get the most touchdowns in a game for a Bear.
Yes, but I'm saying for the NFL, when that is a conversation, something has gone wrong, and I really think if they didn't let off the gas, he would have.
And I just want to tell you, I was actually getting worried as a Bucs fan that I was going to have to care about the team. But, this game really sets us back into perspective of last year.
Oh,
We're
there
still
they
a
are.
dumpster fire.
There
And-
they
And
are.
it finally showed itself.
Oh,
Got it.
But I mean, Ryan
Anyways.
Fitzpatrick still has an epic beard, and it's beautiful.
So I'm gonna talk about stuff.
We're gonna talk about our studs and
Stuffs and
duds.
things.
We're gonna talk about some people that we are really enjoying, people that we're maybe wanting to go out and buy, and then we're also going to talk about the people that what do you do with? They're just
this
done.
is not someone you can buy. This is someone you just praise God you have.
And we'll talk about it. I mean, that's something to talk about. And then finally, we'll kind of go into a fun little game that we have. Like I said, we're doing things different. Y'all saw the games. Let's talk about them.
So, my stud, the boy I talked about all offseason, Cooper Kupp.
I think you can buy Cooper Kupp.
Target share, 0.32% this last game, which is the highest this year, but not by much. He's been around 20, 25. PPR points, 37.2 on 11 targets. The man is doing it. And I'm excited. I think he's actually number 3 in PPR total. I have to check that.
He's legit. The catches that he made on Thursday were legit.
They were legit. So overall, over the entire season, after this loads, I will tell you exactly where Cooper Kupp is. Pretty sure it's number 3.
But that's the thing is with Cooper Kupp
Yep,
is
number
that
3.
is that I want to buy him now. I want to buy him in redraft. I want to buy him in dynasty because the people that have Cooper Kupp, I don't think they realize what they have. Because yes, he's coming off of a great big win.
So
Yes,
he's 6 overall.
okay. Yes, he's doing well.
You lied.
But we're
I
to
didn't.
that point because
Deception.
of Cooper Kupp, he is not considered to be elite talent yet. And to me, in my
Is-
book, he is.
Is he what you would consider 2 years ago Adam Thielen?
Yes.
In the sense that, he had a few good games, but,
Yes,
you,
I'm seeing history repeat itself. He has a few games. Everybody's like, can I trust him? Can I trust him? Can I trust him? And by the time they start trusting him, you can't buy him now. Now, is he going to cost you a lot right now? Sure. Cooper Kupp will cost you a lot right now because he's coming off of a big win. But I think that if he can keep this up, he is going to not just be a good player, he will be an elite player. And I can buy an elite player for cheap. I mean, go back. It's been a while, but go back when OBJ first started off his rookie year. And I'm not comparing him to OBJ, but I'm just saying he had a first few games, and you're like, wait a second. You know what I'm saying? And you had this weird window where you could buy him. I will happily, in Dynasty, buy Cooper Kupp for 2 first-round picks right now. I know that sounds so hot, but I mean, if you would have been able to, I wouldn't start there. Let me rephrase. That would be my cap. But I would try to a first and a second, sure.
you want to
just
trade me 2 firsts?
send it, baby.
I'd be tempted. Only because of my team, but I'd be tempted.
But what I'm saying is that we have faded Brandon Cooks a little bit because at least I did in the offseason because I said, well, Brandon Cooks has always played with Drew Brees and Tom Brady. What do those two people have in common? They are fantastic quarterbacks. Yes. Okay, now Brandon Cooks is being successful with Jared Goff. So what does that mean about Jared Goff? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I just think that this Rams offense is legitimate, and I think that me going out, the person that owns Cooper Kupp does not see them as a wide receiver 1 right now. They don't. They don't see that way in redraft. They don't see that way in dynasty.
I mean,
And
I'm
to
going
me-
to tell you my personal dilemma. My dynasty team that our League of Records is in, I have good wide receivers. I have DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Evans, T.Y. Hilton, Amari Cooper, Christian Kirk, and Cooper Kupp. And when I play 3 wide receivers,
You
Cooper
can't fit
Kupp,
him in that lineup.
I can't put Cooper Kupp in there, even though I'm like, I want to play him over
100% the
T.Y.
same.
Hilton or something.
I was in a redraft league. The guy that I almost got Stephon Diggs from, he had Stephon Diggs. He had Cooper Kupp. He has T.Y. Hilton. And then he had DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah. He's also the other guy that has a really good team like me. And I went to him winning Stephon Diggs. But I remember thinking if he were to change that out and make it Cooper Kupp, I would be okay with it, with that trade. And what I'm saying is that I don't think people put Kupp on the same level as they do Diggs.
Okay.
And right now, will I have to pay a lot for Cooper Kupp? Yes.
You'll have to pay more for
Do I
Diggs.
feel like I'll have to pay more for him in 3 weeks? Absolutely. So if there is a moment to go out and get an elite wide receiver, it's now. I mean, the guy's just, and you can say, well, it was the Vikings, well, it was one game, but we keep saying that week after week. And I mean,
he did awesome last year.
I don't think people put Kupp on the same level as Juju Smith-Schuster.
Was he right? He was right ahead of him, wasn't he?
I mean, as of right now, he's ahead of him.
Kupp actually is number 3, by the way.
This week.
For overall for the year, it's
6.
Michael Thomas, Adam Thielen, Mike Evans, Golden Tate, DeAndre Hopkins, Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. Okay, so
in PPR formats.
Let's move on to another stud. We'll talk about Cooper Kupp in the last data stats things. You always go to the
It's CBS Sports year to date.
Does it have week 4?
PPR.
It does not have week 4. Okay.
Get good, John. Get good.
So Adam Thielen has 473 yards through week 3?
Apparently. All right, Tyler, what's one of your studs?
All right, so my stud is going to be James White from the Patriots. James White,
Fantastic.
for those of you that don't know, last week he blew it up. James White has always been a great running back who literally emerges from his cave on playoff. That's what he does. He comes out and goes, nah, guys, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. Y'all let me know.
He didn't do that bad before this, though.
31.2 points, James White. I think James White is going to be like last year's Deion Lewis. And Deion Lewis became the Patriots' main running back the same way James White is right now. Injury. People getting hurt. Rick Burkhead, can't trust him. Sony Michel's going to take some snaps, but I will gladly take a running back who plays for the Patriots and is only splitting between him and Sony.
I want you to guess where James White is right now in the season for a running back.
5.
He's 7.
7.
I
knew that was shooting to the
overall running
moon.
back.
But I mean, right now, I mean, in not standard. Who does standard? Well, I guess that's these are his fantasy points: 15.6, 15.4, 14.1. Last week against Miami, 31.2.
Cool.
I mean, that's insane to me. Like, and I don't know if it's going to change. It's going to be him and Sony. And I'll be honest, I haven't seen a whole lot of Sony in the pass catching role. And yep, I mean, I'm going out and buying James White too. If I can take Stephon Diggs, turn him into James White and Cooper Kupp, I'm gonna stroke out. Like, I'm just gonna die. But he goes back to the same thing with Cooper Kupp. Just like you said, if you were to say, I'm high on him, so that's why I said running back 5. But I think if you talk to anybody else, any layman's person, hey, what is James White for the running back for the season?
He's like
so
a
far?
running back 2 or something.
Yeah, something. They don't see him as a running back 1. And I think he continues this trend with all the injury and stuff, and the Patriots is needing it. They need a pass-catching role. He is Deion Lewis this year.
All right. John, what's your stud?
John Brown.
Nice.
Love it.
Nice.
He's, I said against the Bengals, I said he's just big play potential. Actually, his first game was against Buffalo, where he had 44 yards and a touchdown. He's only had one game this year so far without a touchdown. Through 4 weeks, he is totaling 338 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's the 19th wide receiver in the league.
He's been pretty consistent. I mean, we're talking about 116 yards, 1 touchdown last week. He had 86 yards, no touchdown the week before. 92 yards, 1 touchdown week 2. And I told you the week line stat. I mean, he is honestly, he's Joe Flacco's big play. And actually last night, I don't know if you watched the game or not, but last night, Joe Flacco barely missed him for another 50 or 60-yard touchdown. I mean, he's big play. I mean, and
he trusts him.
And he's a guy that I honestly feel comfortable every week right now. Just leave him alone in my lineup and let him play.
100%. He's a must-start at this point. Like, he went from that, maybe to, hey, he's a good flex option to be I'm playing him.
Yeah. I mean, as far as, I think I said a couple weeks ago, John Brown's coming out And he's going to keep doing this. Because, I mean, look, my only complaint with him is that his catch percentage is not the greatest. And I don't know if that's Joe Flacco or if that's John Brown or if that's the routes he's taking because he goes deep. But I like it. I like it a lot.
I like it a lot.
Like it a lot. So we've talked about the good. Now we need to talk about the bad.
Gross.
And you know what? I started them last week because I was like, okay,
You gotta have to.
the Colts don't have the best run defense. Lamar Miller, you
Dirty slut.
Can
we say that here?
No,
We'll go for it. It's our podcast. Why not?
It's my podcast. I get to do what I want.
I'll say it.
I think he averaged. I'm pulling it up. He averaged 3.5 yards per carry, which is
Strong.
whatever. If you can get that, fine. But I need something else from you. 0 touchdowns, 0 receptions, 49 yards. Why?
Yeah,
Why?
Why?
I mean, what do you do? What do you do with them? I mean, I don't think you drop them at this point.
No, you can't.
You can't drop him. Do you try to trade him? And if so, what are you
Well,
getting?
the problem is this week he played nothing in the receiving game. At least last week he had 5 receptions for 41 yards and a touchdown. But he also had 10 rushes for 10 yards.
Okay, so let me give you a little rundown of right now. Okay, first off, where is Lamar Miller as far as running backs in PPR formats?
I'm going to say 19.
He is running back 29.
Wow.
If I am reading this correctly. Yep. Okay. Yep, running back 29. Now,
That sucks.
let me just start going through some names, and would you rather have these people rather than Lamar Miller? Okay,
Oh,
just
gosh.
give you trade options.
Oh, gosh.
Jay Ajayi,
No.
Boel Powell,
Maybe.
Kerryon Johnson,
Yes.
Jordan Howard,
Yes.
Alex Collins,
Yes.
Isaiah Crowell.
Probably.
Okay. Let's see if there's anybody behind it. Sony Michel.
You know what? I would. That's only the case because Sonny Michel is just coming out.
And he's about to get this party started.
Get this party started.
And the bass keep running.
All right, this is recorded before Monday night, so we're not sure. But Philip Lindsay. Would you rather?
I don't want to risk it. I know he's been blowing up, but I don't know. I have bad feelings.
So out of
if
all
my
of
gut won't
those-
let me, I'm not going to do it.
Out of all those, if you have Lamar Miller, who are you targeting that you would
Most
rather
of them.
have? Okay.
I would love to have Kerryon Johnson. If I could trade Lamar Miller for Kerryon Johnson straight up, yeah, but I don't think I'm going to get that.
Yeah.
No.
Not and Sony,
You're
I don't
not.
think so either.
No. I'm not.
Isaiah
You're
Crowell.
Fine, whatever, dude.
You're not.
I mean, maybe. I'd have to look into it.
What is it?
Isaiah Crowell.
Right now, Tariq Cohen is ahead of him. Would
Yeah,
you trade?
Tariq Cohen also had a crazy night.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. Let's deviate
Anomaly.
a little bit. Yeah. Is you concerned for Jordan Howard in the Tariq Cohen situation?
Well,
I have my answer, but
Thank you for your transition. That's actually my dud. Jordan
it's
Howard.
Jordan Howard. All right,
Yeah.
let's talk about it.
Here's my issue.
Jonathan doesn't put his notes in the show doc. He's too cool, so we don't know that.
Here's my issue. Over the course of 4 weeks, 203 yards, 50 point yards a game. He's only scored 1 touchdown, and he's had 64 carries. He's averaged 3.2 yards per carry. They've played the Cardinals. They've played the Bucks, Seahawks, and Packers. None of those teams have a punch-you-in-the-mouth defense.
Patent pending on that name. Punch in the mouth defense.
I mean, he had a good game against the Packers, but still, he only comes out with 82 yards and 0 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's actually running back 25 right now.
And where did you take him at? You probably took him, and I'm sorry.
Third or fourth.
And I'm sorry. Let me stand up and just own it. In the offseason, I said I actually preached Jordan Howard a lot more than Tyler. I preached pick him up, and he still could turn around. But right now, in this Matt Nagy offense, he's not doing well. I mean,
the only thing I will say, I'm not worried about Jordan Howard, and I'm not selling him because I can't get him I can't get much for him after that game.
Are you buying them?
Yeah, I'll buy him at the right price. I'm not paying what I would have paid.
So what is the
before
right
this
price
game.
right now with Jordan Howard?
I mean,
As running back 25, because all those running backs that you just Isaiah Crowell,
I'd rather have Jordan Howard. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, yes, Isaiah Crowell is ahead of him by 4 points. And let's take away the fact that the Buccaneers, the main way you beat their defense is passing. So this is 100% game script to me. The Bears came in knowing, why run the ball? When literally they have no one guarding wide receivers. I mean, what was the point? And when Jordan Howard got the ball at the end of the Buccaneers game, he looked good running. But, I mean, Matt Nagy came in with that game script, 100%. He probably went to Jordan Howard and said, don't get frustrated if you don't get played a lot today.
It's
because
not going to happen.
We're just going to gunsling. Because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are better against stopping the run than they are against their poorest secondary. Their secondary looks lost. I mean, Trey Burton was by himself at one point. He got a hot dog, laid out a picnic, and then was like, hey, Mitch, over here, buddy. And they go, oh, yeah, my bad. I mean, that's
my only problem though is we say game script, but the thing is and yeah, Mitch Trubisky had a great game against them, but he's played 2 out of the top 6 worst run defenses there is. Arizona Cardinals being the absolute worst run defense there is, and against Arizona he had 61 yards.
This tells you what Tampa is. Alvin Kamara, maybe you heard about him, pretty good running back. 8 attempts, 29 yards on the ground. In the air, 12 targets, 112 yards in the air, 1 touchdown. It's the game script. I mean, the thing is
they have a
Alvin,
decent defensive line and linebackers, but no safety and no cornerbacks.
But so what about Arizona though? 2.54 yards per carry, and he only had 61 yards on 24 attempts. I mean,
they were down. Arizona scored 2 touchdowns quick. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't think that I'm not trying to defend David Johnson. David Johnson is not a running back 1. He's not. I will be very happy if he finishes running back 2, if he does. But what I'm saying is that you're talking about Isaiah Crowell. I'm sorry, Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard. I'll be very surprised if Jordan Howard finishes running back 2. I'm saying we way oversold. That's not what I'm saying. But you're talking about people like Isaiah Crowell, who, to me, yes, he has more points right now, 4 more points, but you have 2 games where Jordan Howard got game scripted out. And I can't just, when 2 out of the 4 games game script you out, I can't go with the guy, well, he has 4 more points. Let's go with Isaiah Crowell. I mean,
let me ask you a question. Maybe not from a Jordan Howard's talent perspective, but just the fact that, I mean, to me, as an outsider looking into the games, it looks like Matt Nagy easily in this Bears offense abandons the run. Easily. I mean, even in a game where Arizona gets up 2 touchdowns, I mean, they still are the worst team against the run. And he still got 24 rushes. I mean, to me, it just seems like in these other games, he just abandons it.
I agree. I think that he's not running as much as we initially thought. I mean, coming from
so
Andy
in
Reid's
redraft,
thing.
Would you take, let's say, if somebody sent you Marshawn Lynch for Jordan Howard, would you take him?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we can't ignore the workload that Marshawn's getting. Marshawn should be a lot higher than what he is. I mean, he's getting more opportunity. I mean, I can't say no to that. I mean, as of right now, Marshawn Lynch, before Monday's game, is the 9th running back. I mean, that's a running back 1.
What about, Austin Eckler or Nyheim Hines?
No, because I worry about their game script is pulling them up, where I feel like Jordan Howard is pulling them down. But I see the point. I get what you're saying. I think that both of those guys, Eckler and Hines, kind of move down, and I think Jordan Howard moves up. I don't know if they finish too far away from each other.
So would you take your stud, your James White, over my dud, Jordan Howard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that's probably hot.
Just trying to give some price to him.
I think that we need to, at what point, and this is hard. I've talked about this on Twitter, and I know we need to finish up because we have one more game. But it's hard to do this, but everybody here listening to the podcast, us, as well as our listeners, as well as people on Twitter, have a gauge of when do you change your mindset. How much data is enough for you to change your mindset?
Never.
And you got to figure that out, because for some people, we're sitting here saying, "Oh, change James White for Jordan Howard." Some people will be like, "That's ludicrous. Jordan Howard was the number 1 rusher the rookie year, and blah 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 blah." Pound your fist. But it's like when it comes week 8, if you didn't jump on the board of that trade, is it too late now? I mean, and then vice versa. What if you do that trade now, and then Jordan Howard comes into true form, and James White starts getting faded by Sony? Now what? I mean, so you have to figure out at what moment is it enough information for you to get rid of the names? Get rid of the names. I mean, at what moment can you start, like I said with Cooper Kupp, some people still, after 4 games, don't see Cooper Kupp as a wide receiver 1. They just don't.
Yeah.
And at what point do you make that mindset to flip over? Because it's a gamble. Because if you do it right, you get Cooper Kupp, you get James White, you ride both into the championship. If you do it wrong, James White falls off a map, Cooper Kupp falls off a map, and you trade Jordan Howard and,
so
extra.
Last trade situation in Dynasty, only Dynasty, because in redraft I know the answer because you're kind of cornered. But only in Dynasty, if someone came to you right now and said, "Look, I'm a James Conner owner. Lev Bell's coming back. Would you give your Jordan Howard for my James Conner in Dynasty?"
That is a super duff. I don't know.
Duff beer like Simpsons.
Connor versus Howard. That is in
Dynasty.
Yeah.
Can you sacrifice Jordan Howard's
Cool story, bro.
the rest of this year to get James Conner's what we know he can do, running back 6 next year?
I honestly don't know. And I wish that I could tell you. My initial gut was Connor. But then now I'm thinking you're going like, I don't know if I could do that. It's risk versus reward. Because what if Connor isn't the back? And Jordan Howard still is. So I think it would maybe, and I hate to just punt this question and say it depends on my team, but it kind of does. I mean, can I afford to take that risk? What if Connor isn't the main back? Can I afford that? If I'm sitting with 1 running back plus Jordan Howard as my running back 2 and no one else, I can't afford that risk. I can't.
Personally,
I don't know.
I don't know either. I think if I'm in a position where I have running back cushion, I'm going to trade Jordan Howard. If I need somebody this year and I can still make a run at it, I'm going to do Jordan Howard just in case his stock increases, and I think I can get more for him. But, Tyler, post that on Twitter, and if you're listening, just check out the F3 Twitter and look and see what that answer is, see what the Twitter folks would do, because I think it's one, because I ask it, but I think it's a great question.
It does. Okay, Tyler, what's your last dud?
My life.
That's fair.
Born to lose.
Born to lose.
All right, Nick.
It is Derrick Henry.
What's his name? Nick Price?
Oh, wow. When we were in high school, there was this guy named...
Busting him out, huh?
Well, Nick's at home. What the hell?
Nick, what's your address?
So Nick, the guy that we went to high school with, apparently got the words "Born to Lose" tattooed on his back.
Yeah.
And, yep. All right, so my dud is Derrick Henry. Here's my question with Derrick Henry. You're keeping him in Dynasty. You're hoping that he does something. In redraft, do you drop him?
If I have to. I mean, it depends on who I can pick up, but...
I mean...
Maybe? This isn't a different... This is a new offensive coordinator. I think he knows what he's doing 4 weeks in. I don't think the game script is going to change. You're basically banking on Dion Lewis getting injured to get value out of him at this point.
I mean, what are our waiver wire pickups? Would you pick up any of those over? Would you drop Derrick Henry for any of those guys?
I don't know if I could bring myself to do
it. I think they should have like a little special place that you could, like purgatory or something.
I don't think that Derrick Henry cannot be the worst person on your roster with the least amount of upside. Derrick Henry has a lot of upside. He is a good, talented running back. What's wrong with him? I don't know. But he's a talented running back. I mean, I think. I don't know. It's those. That's a tough.
He's decent.
He's tough. But am I dropping him? No. I'm not dropping him because I paid too much for him. I'm going to try to sell him to somebody who believes in him, or I'm just going to let him ride my bench because I really think that Dion Lewis will end up getting injured because he always does. And I think Derrick Henry is going to be ridden.
Okay.
Road.
All right, before we get into the last little bit, we're going to talk about the top wide receivers and what we think is going to happen. We're going to talk about our other sponsor, Sport Bracketeers, a daily fantasy sports company that makes a unique bracket-style format. Users enter a contest and advance through the contest bracket by answering statistical questions in a head-to-head format. Like how many yards will a certain player have in a game, how many, completions, everything. Like there's anything. It's honestly mind-boggling to me. Like, oh, what? Okay. It's the first DFS bracket style. Wow. It's the first DFS bracket style contest that actually finishes the same day. So you get to figure out. You don't have to sit there all weekend. Like, okay, what's gonna happen? Am I gonna win? Woos? No, you get it.
Woos?
You find out. Woos. Yes. Could you stop?
Woos.
Could you?
Woos. I'm going to woos the game.
What? Tyler, finish us out on this one. I can't.
I'll finish this. Bye.
No,
Roll it.
No, we can't. Listen, Sports Bracketeers is it's really honestly one of the best ways to do DFS. I get tired of the setting the lineups and buying people with money and all that jazz. I like the statistical questions that are head to head. They last one game, one day. You can do not like a whole season thing. There's also free ones. You can join in, get a free thing, and when you do that, you still can win money. I mean, they're the first DFS style that can finish on the same day. Questions are answered in advance, just like setting a lineup. SportBracketeers.com. Also, give them a follow, guys. Just go on Twitter, search Sports Bracketeers, and find them out because I honestly believe they are a fantastic new way to do DFS. And if you're not part of it, you need to be.
All right, so I was talking to Tyler today. I was like, have you seen the top 12 wide receivers right now in fantasy? This is before the Monday night game on week 4, but week number 1, some faces you'll recognize. Michael Thomas at number 1, Adam Thielen, Mike Evans, Golden Tate, DeAndre Hopkins, normal. Cooper Kupp, okay. Julio Jones, Stephon Diggs, Brandon Cooks, Calvin Ridley, Juju Smith-Schuster, and A.J. Green. Notice Antonio Brown is not up there. He is not in the top 12.
Another person. OBJ,
Devontae Adams.
I want to point out one thing that sticks out to me.
Yep.
Yes, he is the number 1, and even with a really bad game. We talked about this before the podcast. Michael Thomas had a bad game week 4, 44 yards, I think. Still number 1, 445 yards.
He also played.
He's been targeted 44 times and caught 42 of them. His catch percentage is 95.5%.
insane.
He has stickum on his hands.
If it makes you think more, Adam Thielen was targeted 12 more times
And has 2 less receptions.
Yeah, and he has 1 less point.
And the antithesis of that, well, not really the antithesis, but just the opposite as far as
look
target
at you
share
using
goes,
big
but
words.
points. Calvin Ridley, 21 targets, 15 receptions. He has 6 touchdowns. Out of the 15 balls that he's caught, he has only had 9 that have not been touchdowns.
I think he has the most touchdowns in the league right now as a wide
All
receiver.
right, I'll talk about this. Can we one last observation? Cooper Kupp, wide receiver 6. Brandon Cooks, wide receiver 9. Robert Woods is wide receiver 14. The
Wow.
Rams have all 3 wide receivers in the top 14.
Okay, so here's
I'm just not going to talk about it.
No, they're amazing and it's awesome.
I mean, it's just like, okay.
Because Jared Goff is the real deal.
Anyone in here you think is definitely going to move out? I think Calvin Ridley's going to fall back. I think Mike Evans is going to fall back, but not out of the wide receiver 1.
No, I agree
He will
with that.
fall back into the 8 or 9
because
area.
of Ryan Fitzpatrick loves Mike Evans, and then now with
Air Bud is gone. We're back. We're back to the normal Bucks. You got your first of the season points. Now you're going to go back to the back of the wide receiver.
I think Calvin Ridley, and here's the reason why. It's not the touchdowns. Listen, I love Calvin Ridley. I actually posted on Twitter, do you want Calvin Ridley or Amari Cooper in Dynasty? Calvin Ridley's running away with it, which I figured would.
Yeah.
But what's crazy to me, though, is it's the snap percentages. It's that he has 15 catches, all right, and that many touchdowns. I mean, 6 for touchdowns. I just don't think he can keep up that pace. He has less snap counts than Mohamed Sanu. So he's a lower. I love Calvin Ridley. I just don't think he finished as a wide receiver 1.
Okay.
I think he's going to finish high, and you're happy to have him. And I think Cooper Kupp is going to calm down a little bit too. I think wide receiver 6 is a little zealous, but
I see him staying a wide receiver 1.
I can see it too.
Just with the way that offense is firing. I mean,
people. Let me talk about this, and we'll try to finish out. Okay, are you concerned about any of these people? Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham Jr. Okay, Keenan Allen. All of these are people.
T.Y. Hilton.
I like those, but T.Y. was even in the second, third round. The people I just mentioned were first to beginning of second rounders. Are you concerned about any of these?
I'm concerned about OBJ. I mean, I'm in standard. Sorry.
Right now, he's wide receiver 20, 4 games, 45 targets, 31 receptions, 331 yards,
game
and
1,
0
fantastic.
touchdowns.
Game 2, game 3, pretty good. Game 4, meh.
He has 0 touchdowns. This is a guy that at least gets over 1,300 yards and 13 touchdowns.
And I don't like touchdown dependent people, but you gotta score some.
Yeah, you can't. 0's rough. To me, OBJ is a trade target.
Yeah. I mean, he's a big name. He's gonna be harder to get.
All right. So what about this? This is gonna be crazy.
Cooper Kupp
Ready?
for OBJ.
What do you want? What side? You have Kupp. He's coming off an amazing game. You go to the OBJ owner and you say, "Here is Cooper Kupp. Give me your OBJ." Do you do that?
No.
Wow.
No.
That's hot.
I can't do it. I mean, I'm not a lover of OBJ. I mean, I know he's very good,
Okay.
but it's hard to trade for someone who.
I'm just asking questions.
Okay.
I don't think I agree with that. And here's the reason why.
Shame me.
Is because of the 4 touchdowns that Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp has 4 touchdowns, 32 targets, 24 receptions. Fantastic. But right now, OBJ has 45 targets, 31 receptions. He's getting more volume. I think the touchdowns will come. So I will be on the OBJ side. But what I'm saying is, and this goes back to my stud of Cooper Kupp, or we talked about it, not mine, but whatever, is that that's why I want Cooper Kupp. Because in Dynasty and in redraft, I don't think people put him to that value yet.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to take the OBJ side. Sorry, I just looked at the stats.
Lots of touchdowns.
Yeah, well, it's just he had one really big game, but the other games he's been okay. But OBJ has been better.
And here's the other thing
overall.
I want to believe in you because I own Cooper Kupp. I don't own any OBJ. But here's the thing: Cooper Kupp has played the Vikings, the Chargers, the Cardinals, and the Raiders. If you look at the top defenses, or the bottom defenses, I should say, you have you have the Raiders following at the 4th worst pass defense. You have the Chargers falling at the 7th worst passing defense. The Vikings at 8. And then you have the Cardinals as top 3. But he has played 3 of the bottom 10 passing defenses. And he had one really good game. Brandon Cooks, I think, is the one to own in that offense because he's more consistent. Odell Beckham, he has played the Jaguars. We know what their secondary is. He has played the Cowboys, which is the 6th best passing defense. And then he played the Texans, which
Here's the relationship I see. I see Cooper Kupp and Brandon Cooks very, very similar to Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs. And both are great options, and both have different roles, and blah blah blah. But I just,
And here's the thing: is he played 2 of the top passing defenses, and then he played Saints, who's the absolute worst passing defense. But they have Marshawn Lattimore, so that number 1 wide receiver, they can either struggle or be really good. He did middle of the road, 7 receptions, 60 yards.
Who, OBJ?
Yeah.
Well, that's my point. Is that I feel like if Lattimore's on him. Yes, they're a bad passing defense, but they're a bad passing defense for the other wide receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw Sterling Shepard go nuts last week.
Deshaun Jackson
ran
a train on them.
Yeah. So, yes. So that's why I'm saying I will take the OBJ side. But what I want our listeners to do is to have that kind of mindset. So I think this was a great episode, guys.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah,
I'm
and we
disappointed in
won't
it.
have the helmet next episode. It ends in 7 hours.
Oh,
So,
we got to wait.
yeah.
Here soon. Tune in next week. I like the way we're doing things, man.
I'm just going to say it.
Thanks for listening
Said it before
to
the
Fantasy
season.
Football Franchise
Matt Ryan?
Podcast.
Who's
And
the
follow us
number one
at
quarterback?
F3 Pod.
Besides Patrick Mahomes. Matt Ryan. 100.